Yeah, hi, let's take a look at the topic of, well, I put up already, selling protection. We're looking at life assurance here that you would sell alongside a mortgage. Now, you do need to sell protection. You can't just expect people to buy it. The general public won't buy life assurance. It's not something that they buy. They don't buy pensions either, which is why we've got auto-enrolment. So you do have to have some kind of way of selling it. And the best way, of course, is to adopt the auto-enrolment process and just automatically make it happen for the customer. Don't ask them for it, but sometimes you have to sell it. Now, back in the day, I remember some terrible, terrible sales techniques that were taught. I'm talking about the 80s. And there was one competitor client, a company of mine, which used to issue coffins to their sales force. This is the direct sales force days. And these little miniature coffins were, and they put them on the coffee table of the customer's house, and they'd say to Mr. Brown, and they'd open up this coffin. You know, what would you do, Mrs. Brown, if Mr. Brown died and found himself in this coffin? It was terrible, really. I didn't think about it, crikey. So we had that in the 80s. We never did that, of course. Then in the 90s, you had this thing called spin. Spin was a lovely little technique, but it was all very much making customers scared. You know, if they did die or if they were ill, what would happen? Where would it lead to? Which you should still do, but you don't have to get so dramatic about it now as we did in the 90s. I want to give you now a better subtle way of doing it, and it gears down to a sales tool that I use, or a communication tool that I use, that works its way around a triangle. Now, if you want to find out more about this one, then let me know and I can tell you a bit more about it. But this triangle effectively is a way of not categorizing people, but it's a way of checking out value systems of people, what drives people. It's called the SDI. You might have come across it before. I'll put there on the SDI. Now, the SDI stands for Strength Deployment Inventory, and it's a great little tool. I use it a lot in helping teams to communicate, people to communicate better, particularly when it comes to influencing clients. You can use this as a great tool. Now, within the SDI, there are 4 colour systems, effectively, that we use. And I'll quickly tell you about them. The first colour system is along here, and these are called blue people. Now, blue people are all about people. Let's put that in there for you. They're all about people. That's what turns them on. That's their value system. That's what drives them. They care for people, they nurture people, they worry about people. They're people. And that's their main priority. That's their value driver system. Then you've got over here red people. Now, red people are all about performance. They're all about getting things done. There you go. Achieving goals, achieving aims, planning stuff out, making things happen. They're about performance. Obviously, there's a bit more to than that. That's their driver. That's their inner motivation. And down the bottom here, you've got green people. Now, green people are about process. Yeah, process. So you've got people, process, performance. Now, process is procedures. It's about law and order. It's about logic. It's about logistics. It's about lists. It's about processing things. It's about doing things right, the right thing to do. And that's what drives green people. Now, there's a lot more to that. And if you're interested, just let me know and I'll give you some more details about it. It's in my book as well. Now, the whole point is, though, that you can quickly gauge your client as to what colour they tend to lean towards. And that can help you sell life assurance. And I'll give you some examples for you. So let's just take a look at the blue people first of all. Now, when you're selling life assurance to a blue person, you want to pick up on the people aspects. You want to talk about, what would happen, leaving your loved ones behind. How would they cope? How would they cope on their own? What might happen with them? Because you're really worried about leaving them on their own, coping with the mortgage if you were to die. So really ping up on the people aspects really is the key to that one, and that blue person will appeal therefore to life assurance. Now, red people, slightly different. Here you want to find out what their plans are for the family. You want to find out what they're up to in the future. What ideas have they got for their family? What plans? What future goals have they got? Because they will have them, reds, because they're all about performance. And then you can talk about if anything did happen, what plans would you have to cancel, stop? What impact would that have on the family? And the red would be really appreciative of that. Now, the green, you want to put a logical, compelling case to them. Really, you might want to get some numbers out on a piece of paper. If you were to die, what sort of numbers, what income would you need to carry on paying the mortgage? What income would you lose if the husband died or the wife died? And therefore, how difficult it would be to actually purchase or carry on living in that property and affording the mortgage. You want to go all logical with them and build a compelling case. And that's the point there with the greens. The whole idea, though, really, it really is a duty of care that you have as a mortgage advisor to sell or advise, got that one, life insurance. I was reading a book called Nudge at the weekend, really good book. It's about modern nudge theory. It's all about having a default option. You know, when you open up software, there's always default options. Everybody just clicks, click, it's default. So what you want to do is you want to build this into your mortgage process as a default. You may not want to deal with it there and then when the mortgage has been applied for, but you would certainly have a third meeting, possibly once the mortgage offer has been received or something like that, whereby you meet up again, face to face or on video, whatever you want to do, where you talk about protection. You know, we'll talk about property protection. Obviously, the mortgage offer has been issued, so you've got the valuations, you've got all that, but also the life insurance and the health protection. Just make it part of the deal. Don't ask the customer, just make it a default option. So that's a good way of doing it, really. It's very successful, and it'll pay you good because it still pays commission, so it's good for the cash flow as well. Hope that's been useful. Bye.